How are you guys doing tonight? It is great to see you. It is Wednesday. I will flip you around. Hi, Jean. Hi, my happy hands. Hey, guys. How are y'all tonight? My name's Alyssa Thomas. If you haven't been here before, this is my time to relax and craft after a long day. I've showered. I'm tired. It's been a long few days for me. I just my husband's been gone the past few days and I haven't slept well at all. And then we had an awesome convention. Hey there, how are you guys? We had an awesome convention that we both just went to about online marketing and just helping your business out and all those things. And I have so much that I want to bring to you guys with that, so stay tuned. But man, I'm ready to relax and craft for just a little bit. So I invite you to grab a craft and sit here and craft with me. Yeah. I don't sleep well in general, so it's just tough when my system's off. And for this convention, we've been getting up so early and staying up late and everything too. But I don't know. That's why this time is nice for me, where I can recoup a little bit of just get back to my norm, which is just getting some of this crafting in and some of this relaxing. So guys, tonight we are going to be doing this guy again. I'm gonna be taking off all of this water-soluble marker here, just because I can't tell what's going on anymore. It's getting a little crazy. I want to be able to see this leaf without all this stuff around. So that's what we're going to be doing. And so that's not going to take too long. So I showed you right at the beginning all this beautiful, pretty fabric that came in the mail. I'm going to be part of a book that's coming out probably in a year or so. But it's going to be a bunch of quilters and makers who everyone puts together a quilt block, and it has to do something with what makes you love quilting and what got you into crafting and all that. So pick a story around that, and your block should have something to do with that. And so I will be talking about that a little bit today. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to, because I think this is supposed to be top secret until the book is out, but don't tell anyone. Hey there. So after we take the water-soluble marker off of this embroidery, I'll kind of show you my process a little bit. It is a random sketch in a notebook, and then I will cut out the fabric. And I also I reread the contract and everything today. I think I'm supposed to get this approved first, but they sent thanks, Todd. But they sent so much fabric over that even if they want me to do something different, I'm going to have so much fabric to do. We only need to make a 6-inch block, fabric block when we're done. So they sent all this fabric, and I only need something this big. So even if they don't approve my sketch or my idea, I'll have enough fabric to do something else. So I thought I'd still cut it out. Then I can sew it together and get it going. But first we are going to do this guy right here. So I'm going to flip you around. Alrighty. Oh, she does? Oh, that's awesome. What kind of stuff does she like quilting? Like big quilts or more like small gifty items? All right, so here we go. So I got some towels here. What does embroidery mean? Embroidery is stitching with thread to create basically a picture. A lot of times it can be just stitching around a shape. I'm trying this new technique where I fill it all in with one strand of floss. And so that's what I'm kind of doing today. Big heavy quilts. Wow, those take so much work. People don't realize how much work actually goes into those quilts. I mean, hundreds of hours, and fabric is not cheap either. Yeah, it's fun. So this is kind of, I got a little hair on there. So this is kind of what I like to do for just relaxing. And my business is actually embroidery kits and patterns, Penguin and Fish, and we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits, and I'm also an author and a fabric designer. And, this is my time to experiment and just craft. And I invite you guys to grab a craft and work with me. I do this every night. It keeps me going. It keeps me relaxed. It revs me up for the next day. So that's the plan. But tonight, if you were here a couple nights ago, oh, here's my houseplant that I've been drawing right here. And I had originally drawn this leaf, this shape down here, but then I didn't like it so much. My plant grew a little bit and it grew up and nice and pointy, and I really like that. So I redrew it the other day, but now there is so much ink around here that I just can't tell what I'm doing anymore. So tonight I'm gonna take this water-soluble ink off and then let it dry overnight. And while it's drying, I'm gonna work on something else. So we'll do that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna I have a couple towels here and a little bowl of water. I'm gonna just lay a towel here so I don't get my table all the wet. But I'm gonna take this out of the hoop, because I think if I make this wet, it'll start stretching weird, and I don't want it to do that. I'm gonna just take it completely out of the hoop. Yeah, really, right? It has all these 3 new leaves on it too. I mean, it's doing kind of awesome, and you know, I'm just kind of ignoring it, and it's growing. So that's the way to do plants, I think. All right, so I put just a towel down here just to collect some water. What I don't want is to get this area wet. So hopefully the water doesn't spread too much. We're gonna just see what happens. I've never done this style of embroidery before, and you know, deleting little bits at a time. So we'll just see how it goes. So I have another towel. This is a water soluble pen. Here's water erasable fabric marking pen. So I'm just going to dab a little bit of this. Use a Q-tip. Oh, you know, that'd be a good idea. That's actually a great idea. Wondering if I should go run one. I think I'll just I'll make this like a Q-tip, but that's a fantastic idea. I will do that next time. I just don't want to leave. Okay, so I'm making this a lot smaller than I was thinking, because that was a great idea. I'm going to totally use that next time. I usually don't transfer my design this way. I love having an iron-on transfer, because then you can just iron it on and you have all your lines. But this was just a sketch that I transferred onto here. If I'm using like a PDF pattern, I'll use an embroidery stabilizer that will melt in water. But this time I'm filling in all this fabric with thread, so I didn't want like a stabilizer here. So I went back to just your standard way of transferring, where I just put this up to a bright light. I have this on paper, a photocopy of this on paper. Oh, yeah, just about. I have to redo them soon. It's coming off there. So this is the most basic way of transferring. You put a line drawing underneath. You lay your fabric on top with like on a window or a bright surface, a light table, and then you just trace. And that's how I did this. Okay, so we're gonna attempt this. I'm just gonna dab. Oh, see, look, it's going away already. Okay, that's a lot easier than I thought. I haven't done this method in a long time. But yeah, see, already I can tell the shape of my leaf a little bit more. Yeah, it's much easier to see. I'm going to delete all this too, and I'll just redraw that little bit of the stem, because this is a mess. This is hard to tell what I should be stitching and what I shouldn't be stitching. So yeah, we're going to just keep dabbing, and that's just coming off really nice. You can get air erasable markers too. Yeah, the blue sketches the outline. So I here I can show you. I originally started with I did a live drawing of my plant. You know, this guy sitting right here. I wanted to practice drawing leaves more, and that was my original idea. And then I just shrunk it down on the photocopier, and this is what I traced. I just traced this through the fabric. I put a light source behind it. You can just tape it I could tape this to a window and then trace it with this. I have a light table and I just did it on there. But I just, so I traced it and then I continued this shape a little bit. But yeah, so here's the original leaf, but then it grew a little bit more and I liked it pointing up. I thought this leaf looked a little bit too much like this leaf, and I didn't like it as much. Although this, you know, now that I've deleted that, I gotta maybe work on this a little bit. We'll see. I don't know. It's all an experiment. trying to figure it out as I go. But yeah, I mean, that worked really well. It's off already. So that's quite the difference. So what I'm going to do now is, let's see. Yeah, it's all off of there. So what I'm hoping is that this water doesn't just keep going, but I don't think it is. I put hardly anything on there and it all went away right away. So I'm going to let this dry overnight, just because if I could keep stitching now if I wanted to, but if I put this into the hoop again and I'm stretching this wet area, that might stretch in a way that I don't really like. So I'm going to just let this dry so I can start with a nice dry surface again. But yeah, so that went really well. It just deleted that blue line. So when I get back in here, I will probably, I'll for sure draw that stem in again. I'll look at my original drawing. The stem goes off this way, but I think the stem, if you look now, is kind of, so I'm looking at it kind of at this angle. It's kind of curving this way, so I'll probably curve it this way now. And you can kind of see the underneath of the leaf coming up. And I want to be able to give a suggestion of that a little bit. I'll probably build up this black a little bit even more and throw a little suggestion of leaf underneath there. So that's what I'll probably do when I pick this up again. So, all right, but we will set this aside for tomorrow. That worked super well. I was a little unsure about that, but that worked great. All right, so enough embroidery for the night. All right, so here is my next thing. I got sent, I'll move these towels out of the way. I got sent all this really, what's this? This really pretty fabric in the mail the other day. So it's all Moda fabric. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They are a fabric company for the quilting industry. I'm not quite sure what collection this is. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, look at these colors. I mean, they're all just pretty and they're really kind of a rich color, all of them, but they, feel very traditional too, very sweet, very gardeny. So I have these like pretty flowers. This looks very vintage. It actually reminds me of my grandma's clothing a little bit, so I kind of love it. We have it at different colors. Here's a yellow version, some pretty plaids. These little strawberries, like how cute are those? So cute. So I'm not, I don't even know if this is a new collection or not. All I know is it's Moda, and half of the designers for this book got this collection, and half of the designers are getting another collection, and then we're divided. Oh yeah, see, that's what I love doing too. When I'm doing my own personal projects, I'll use my own clothes, old clothes. Things that my husband's old shirts, and right now my big project that I'm working on is a quilt that's entirely made out of my husband's old jeans, and I'm working on finishing that. But yeah, that's a big quilt. Yeah, I can understand why your mom can only do 2 a year. I mean, it's intense. This one's really pretty too. But yeah, so all these kind of vintage inspired prints, like look at these darks. Those are pretty. I gravitate to these really bold darks like this. So anyway, what we were told to do is, well, first of all, I got put into the embroidery category. So some people are going to just put a cool block together. Some people are going to do applique, which is where you cut out a shape in fabric and you sew that shape on top of your other fabric, and that shape can be all sorts of shapes, like it can be flowers or all sorts of things. If she would skip English, she would tell me. Well, that's nice that she's doing some fun, relaxing things for herself. Oh, this dot is really pretty. Oh, I like this version of the dot too. But yeah, look at this, looks really vintage too. But I love these red colors. Ooh, that's a nice big floral. So I got put in the embroidery category. So these are the fabrics that they gave me, and so I have to do something with these fabrics and something that has to do with embroidery. It has to end up being 6 inches, and there has to be a story behind it that has to do with why we like quilting and crafting and all that. So here, I'll show you kind of what my idea is. And again, I'm not sure I'm supposed to be telling you guys this, but don't tell anyone. All right. So this is my random sketch, which looks like a pile of crazy, but I will kind of tell you what my plan is. So my idea for a block, my story behind it is that I got all my crafting genes from my grandma, and she used to make, if you've seen me on here before, I've been working on this doily, and I got a lot farther. If you saw last time, I have maybe, I don't know, 8 more rows on it. Oh, I have to go to my mom and dad's, and I have sleeping basin. The craft room now. Oh, that's kind of funny. Yeah, I'm lucky. I'm just waiting for my room to turn into something. My brother's room is going to turn into my dad's office, and my room is still my room, so I'm hoping it stays that way. My other brother's room turned into the craft room, so mine's the only room that's a room still. But I'm working on this doily, and to me, this is like my grandma's main thing that she did. She crocheted all the time, and this is actually her actual floss that I'm using. Oh yeah, always crafting something, always doing something with her hands, and it was mainly these doilies, and this is her actual floss and her actual needle, and this is the pattern that she used all the time, and I'm just working on it now. It makes me feel like I'm by my grandma, and I just love it, and so I thought I'd do my quilt block with that, because my grandma is like the soul of all my crafting. So I wanted to have it do something with crochet, and then my mom does a ton of quilting, so I want the quilting part to be her, because she's super inspiring, and I love what she makes and everything. And then for me, my company and me, I'm more about embroidery. So I want to combine all those 3 things, like the 3 generations of crafting in my family. So that's the story that I'm going to go for this. So what my idea is to, this sort of represents a little crocheted motif. I mean, it's a pile of crazy right now. I mean, it looks ridiculous. I got to work on it. I got to work on the shapes and everything, but I thought, wouldn't it be cool to do it all in embroidered? There's a chain stitch in embroidery that looks almost exactly like a chain stitch in crochet. Like, it literally looks exactly like this. So I thought it might be fun to make like a tiny doily on this block, but instead of crochet, it's embroidered onto this block. And it'll look like it's a crocheted doily, but it really isn't. It's embroidered, but it'll look like the same sort of stitch. So I have to come up with this design. I don't know. This looks weird. I don't know what's going on in here, but, so I'll work on that obviously, but this is just to get the idea across. And then this is like the little metal, crochet hook. And then I thought, the thread could be coming off and swirling into the borders and all that all the way around. So this is kind of my concept. And it, again, it has to do with my 3 generations of crafting. And I thought that'd be kind of a fun story. So this is the block that I have going. Just something simple to frame the embroidery that will go in the middle. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'll show you the fabrics real quick. I'm going to cut them out tonight. So I thought, just these could be a color and these could be a color. And then these fun little half square triangles. That's what these are called. When you have a square that's split in half on the diagonal and it's 2 triangles, those are called half square triangles, or HSTs in the quilting industry, half square triangles. And there's like tons of way to make these. It's a whole topic in the quilting industry. So I thought that'd be kind of a fun way to frame it. So these dark ones, triangles will be patterned. These will be patterned. And then I think this will be a white background and these parts of the squares will be a white background. So let me just rearrange a little bit here, and I'm going to cut these bits. So here's my sketch, some notes to myself. Should look more like a flower than a snowflake. The fabric is so floral that I don't want this to feel like a snowflake. I want it to feel floral. Let's see. Represents generations of crafters. Crochet equals grandma. Quilting equals mom. Embroidery me. And then here is the size I should cut all my fabric. So this is my plan. This is kind of how I sketch in my notebook to kind of figure it out. I'm just literally putting my brain on paper here. It is not snowing yet. It has been so beautiful here, like crazy beautiful. It was in the 70s yesterday, And I was at this convention, and a lot of people flew in out of town, like from Texas and Florida, and they said it was actually warmer here in Minnesota than where they were. So it is pretty nice. Oh, same in Iowa? Yeah, I mean, it has been just too beautiful. Okay, I'm going to move some of these guys out of the way. Okay. So I have a cutting board here. Oh, yeah, it has just been unbelievably gorgeous. Okay, out of here. So here's my cutting board. So these are the colors I'm thinking. So I pulled these out of the fabric. Here, let's tilt it this way. It's been in the 80s. Well, it was beautiful yesterday, so I don't know where they came from in Texas, but it is, they were surprised. It's a false summer and expect a harsh winter. Yeah, that's usually what happens. We kind of had a beautiful summer. It rained when it needed to rain, and it got dry when it needed to dry. We didn't have to water our lawn or anything at all. So this is kind of where I am with my sketch. This is going to be kind of 2 darks and 2 lights. And I really like these colors from the collection. I thought it was kind of bold, but still pretty traditional. And then I love this red with these little flowers. This is going to be these tiny corners. And then these will be white. These little guys will be the same color white, which came with the collection as well. I think the embroidery will just be nice and clean on there. Oh, thank you. Yeah, these, it was just so fun to get all these in the mail. And so, like I said, I'm supposed to get this approved before I cut it up, but I'll send it to them tomorrow and we'll just see what happens. They sent so much fabric that if it messes up, I'm still going to have enough. So what I'm going to do is I'll set this aside. I need it for the measurements though, so I'll set it over here. All right, so I'm going to cut up these pieces so I can get them ready to sew. I'm going to put these so I remember what order they go in. Okay, but they're all the same size. So first of all, this guy needs to be, what did I say? 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. The finished size of this is going to be 6 inches once it's all sewn together. Oh wow, look how uneven this is. So if I put this on a straight line, look how uneven this is. So we're going to trim for sure. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of align this bottom for now. All right. Oh, my rulers are over here still. So I got some quilting rulers here and my cutting board. So I'm going to start off by just, what's the standard seam allowance? It's a 1/4 inch or 6 millimeters. That's the standard. It's different for garment sewing for sure. I think you use like a 1/2 inch or bigger, whatever you need. But yeah, for quilting, it's a 1/4 inch. So this is the selvage edge. You can see it's got a bunch of the little holes in. We don't want any of that, so I'm going to cut it off. So here's my rotary cutter. If you haven't seen one of these before, it will cut off a finger, so you got to be super careful with them. So that's why it has a safety. If you're using one, you got to get comfortable. You pull the safety off, you cut, you put it back on. Otherwise, you don't want to grab it or anything. You will slice to the bone if it's sharp. All right, so I'm gonna just align this off the ruler. And a lot of people have different opinions on the right way to cut, but I'm gonna just do it how I know how to do it. Okay, so I took the safety off. I'm butting it up against the ruler, moving away from me making my cut. There, that's my first cut. Yeah, exactly. All right, so I am gonna cut 4 inches already off of this. So this is already, well here, we'll do it the right way. So I'm going to put this ruler down and 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need it to be 4.5 inches. So 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch. So I align that with the straight edge that I already cut because I know that's my perfect straight edge. There we go. And now I put the other ruler down, butt it up against it. Move this guy out of the way. All right. There. Done with that. All right, so this guy's 4.5 inches wide. Now I'm gonna lay it down so it's flush against one of these edges. Oh yeah. All right, so I'm gonna trim. So now I know that this edge is perfect and this edge is perfect. Now I gotta get my other edges. This is that edge that was all curvy that came with it, so I want to get rid of that. I didn't cut that edge, so I can't trust that that is square. So I'm going to line my edge that I know is good on the bottom and just pick another one of these lines and get it all lined up and there. All right, so now we know that we're square all here. And I just have one more cut. This guy moved a little though. Huh. We'll get it back on there. We don't even have to have it lined up with the line anymore because all we need is a good baseline. Then we do our 4.5 inches again. And I know this is 4.5 inches, but I always have to count just to make sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4.5. I get super paranoid. Okay, so we line that edge up. Put our other ruler down, move this out of the way, safety off, cut, safety on. Alrighty. So we have our 4.5 inch square because, yeah, exactly. And you know, like I said, I don't know if I'll have to redo this or not if they don't like this concept. So I want to make sure I have enough of this left over. So this is going to be the center bit. Wow, so it's almost the same size. So when I do the embroidery, it's going to have to be, yeah, it's not fun. Especially when it's beautiful, pretty fabric and then it's all cut up and it's like, oh no, that sucks. It's kind of like carpentry, you know, you cut your perfect piece of wood and it's 2 inches too short. It's a problem. So I'm going to have to, when I design this embroidery, I'm going to have to make it awfully small, almost the size of this. So I'll have to come up with a little doily design that is only this big. But you know what? That'll be fun because the people who purchase the book and want to do it, the motif, the embroidery motif won't be so crazy that they won't think that they can do it. It'll just be this little, I don't know, 3-inch embroidery in here. So that's a good guide. So when I'll probably design this in Adobe Illustrator, just so my lines are perfect. I'll know to make it about 3 inches big when I'm doing that. So I'll have to design within that realm. Okay, but we got our 4.5 inch square. Now it is time for these guys. So these are all the borders. All of the borders need to be, let's see, 1.5 inches by 4.5 inches, if I did the math right. Here's where math comes into crafting. Someone asked the other day, do I ever use math? And when I do quilting, I do math. Even look at this page. I had to think of all of this stuff. I had to think of, okay, if x squared plus, or a squared plus b squared equals c squared, I had to do like crazy math. I could have just looked it up. I know a lot of people, yeah. I mean, I didn't really have to do that. I mean, people have figured all this out already, and it's all online. I could have just Googled it, but I was trying to be smart. So hopefully I did the math right. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to, again, this is going to be my 4.5 inch cut, and then I'll do like a little strip for the 1.5. But I want to cut off all this edge again. I'm out if there's math involved. There's only math involved if you want math to be involved. I could have just Googled it. So I'm going to cut all 4 of these at once because I think my blade's sharp enough that I can go through, and all of them are going to be the same size. So I'm going to cut on this line. I want to cut off this selvage though, so I'm going to just put up all this selvage next to each other. And then these guys, oh wait, not this guy. He's going to be the corner. All right, so let's do this one. Layer that on them. I'm trying to line as much as I can here. I will still trim this, but I will I'm kind of trying to cut the same amount off of here. Ooh, that is pretty. Look at that. That dark. Ooh, I like that. It's really vintagey, but that dark makes it really kind of bold and fresh. I like it. Okay. You know, I probably should have ironed these first two, but they're pretty much flat, so I didn't worry about it. Okay, then this selvage too. These strawberries are just the cutest. Okay, so I might, since it's only going to be a half or 1.5 inches, I want to make sure I get some of these strawberries in. So I'm going to make sure of that somehow. So if I'm cutting here, then 1.5 inches is about there. So I'm going to try and center a strawberry within that area. So let's see. So I'd have to center the strawberries about there. So I'm going to move it over a bit. There, right. So if I cut here and it's 1.5, okay, great. So this will be centered. Because I don't want to cut into those beautiful little strawberries. Or I don't want to sew over them and then you can't see them. Okay. So here's my, I think, yeah. Okay, here's going to be my first cut of these. Ugh, those are so cute. All right, let's see if they cut through. Yep, perfect, good. My blade is still sharp enough. If I can't cut through 4 pieces of fabric, it's time to change the blade. Okay, so I'm going to cut the 1.5 inches right away without moving this too much. Oh, and you know what? My stand is kind of in the way. Okay, I'm going to cheat this a little. Well, okay, let's see. I'll just move it over a little. My stand's in the way, so I don't know if I can move this over all the way. Let's see. Okay, there. Perfect. All right, we got it. So 1.5 on that nice straight edge. When I sew this together, it'll end up being only 1 inch with that quarter inch seam allowance. So when I sew, I'll lose a 1/4 inch here and I'll lose a 1/4 inch here. So I'll only have 1 inch left and it'll be right over this cute little row of strawberries. Hey, Aunt Andrew, how are you tonight? Okay. Thanks for the hearts, guys, too. This is fun. I haven't done anything like this on here yet. All right, done with these. Like, look how much fabric's left over. If they need me to redo it, I have tons of frickin' fabric. I can make a whole mini quilt, or even, you know, a pretty big quilt out of this fabric. Not like, you know, a full quilt or anything, but with a big enough border on it. I mean, they did not need to send me this much fabric for one little quilt block. Okay, so now this is the 1.5 inches. Now we need it to be 4.5 inches long. So these are my two, oh, here, I can move over again. I'm kind of off screen, huh? Okay, these are my two nice edges. So I'm going to line that up with one of these rule lines. Let's see. I want to just make sure that these are all covering the line. Yep, so I'm going to just snip it off here and then cut 4.5 inches. And this will be done. So this is to just get a nice clean edge here. All right. Look at these cute little snippets. Okay, so then 4.5 inches. So 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Again, because I'm too scared to actually look at the ruler. I have to count. Okay. Oh, thanks. These are, yeah, you know what? I have the little you know, like I said last night, I know a little bit about a lot of crafts, which means I have a lot of little gadgets. This is, these are standard for the quilting industry, a nice cutting board. Self-healing cutting board is what it's called. So you can cut into it and it'll, basically the place where you cut in won't show at all. Using the two rulers is blowing my mind. Oh yeah, so this is kind of the typical process. I mean, I could, there's a debate in the quilting world about this. Like in theory, I could have used my ruler and just lined up with my ruler. But some quilters are really adamant that don't use the ruler. Or don't use the ruler on the cutting board. Use it in this way. You measure on your perfect straight edge, and then you put another straight edge next to it, and that's what you cut. So I don't know. That's how my mom does it, and that's how she showed me. And when I get lazy, then I just use the lines on the cutting board if it doesn't matter so much. But I don't know, we're doing it this way this time. All right, so safety off. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Okay, so you had to count again. All right, so there, these guys are gone for now. Rogue quilters, I tell you. Okay, so here's what we got so far. Here's my centerpiece, and here are my little cuts. This will go up here. So again, when I sew it, I will put this down here. I will sew 1/4 of an inch in here, and then, you know, so that there'll be a seam there. So I'll fold up, and it'll look like that. So everything will shrink 1/4 of an inch. But this is generally what it'll look like. So I got this. I'm gonna put a light and a light. These, I gotta show you these up close. Aren't those like the cutest? Get in focus there, buddy. There, I was. Look how freaking darling that is. Like, look at all these little dots in there. Ugh, it's just so cute. Cute, 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 cute. Okay. Like, look how small this block is going to be. Okay, so there's the block, and then I wanted to do these triangles in the corner. So we're going to do these in a special way that I haven't actually done before. But, you know, when I'm crafting, I always like to do something I haven't done before because, you know, that's how you learn. So I'm going to just draw it out kind of what my plan is. Okay, so to make these 4 triangles that are they're 4 squares, right? They're 4 squares, half of it is white and half of it is gonna be this pretty, super pretty red color. Like, look how cute is that? That is like the prettiest red color ever. It's kind of it's a little pinky and a little corally. Oh, it's just so cute. So I'm gonna make 4 squares, right? And half of them are gonna be white. Half of it's gonna be a white triangle and half of it's gonna be this pretty color triangle. So the way we're gonna do it, they're all going to end up being at 1.5 inches, and I think my math is right on this, but I don't know. So I'm going to cut a 2.5 inch square of white because half of those squares I want to be white. So here's my final piece. I want half to be white and half to be this red, right? So I'm going to put a white square, and then I'm going to put a red square on top of it. So pretend I'm putting a red square. Then I'm going to sew all the way around the square with the quarter inch allowance. Right? So I've basically sewn the 2 pieces together all the way around, right? But then I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut there and I'm going to cut there. So then what happens? So I have a piece like this, so that'll come out, right? I have a piece. If I take this is a cut and this is a cut. I take this out. Yep, right sides together, which, you know, doesn't really matter because this doesn't really have a right side. But yes, typically if it was 2 pattern pieces, you do right sides together. So this is still sewn here, right? So again, this is just this extracted out of it. And I have 4 pieces like that, right? So this is sewn here. This is 2 pieces together. If I unfold that, then, you know, this is where that seam is. I unfold it, then, you know, this is my white triangle, this is my red triangle. See, so there's my square. And I got 4 of those pieces. So that's how I'm getting my, that's how I'm gonna get my 4 pieces around here. Yeah, there's all sorts of way to make these pieces, but that's how I'm gonna do it here. So again, this is why I had to do the math. I had to figure out, okay, if I want this to be 1.5 inches, then what is this, the hypotenuse and all that have to be? That was where the math came in. But yeah, so this is how I'm going to do it. Again, just 2 squares sewn together. Yeah, 2 squares sewn together all the way around. Slice it at the diagonals. You got 4 pieces that look like this. Unfold it. There you go. Crazy, right? Whoa. Okay, so I'm going to cut. So all I need to cut for all of these is just 2 squares that are 2.5 inches big. So that's what I'm going to do now. So we have this guy. This is just such a pretty color. And I think it's going to look super pretty with, I'll bring this guy over here again. because all of these have a little bit of this red in, like here it is in the flower a little bit, you know, this has it in the flower, this has it in the dots, and these the strawberries. So I think it's all gonna go, so here it'll be like a little corner like this. Here we go, like this. Dreaming patterns in rulers tonight. Awesome. Yeah, start designing. I mean, you don't need to know anything. You just get some graph paper out and start playing. I mean, that's literally, you don't have to be intimidated by any of this stuff. It is just playing. I mean, quilting, you know, you just think you sew it together and you have a grid layout and that's it. You cut your pieces, you sew them together. So these will be white and here. So maybe I'll try and figure out how to get maybe the sewing machine out here. Maybe I'll actually sew all this together. That'd be kind of fun to do. Okay, so I needed 2.5-inch squares, I think. Let me check my math again. Okay. Yeah, so I think I figured if I want this to be 1.5 inches, I need this to be 2 inches. I could really cut this 3 inches. You know, I wonder if I should do that. Nah, we're gonna pretend I did the math right. If I do it wrong, I just have to redo it. Okay, so let's get this white out again. This is what we cut earlier for this. So again, we're gonna need to cut the edges off. This one, the white's pretty crooked. Okay, so we are making 2.5-inch squares. You can go away. All right. Lining it along that line. Oh, you guys, I'm getting a little off course here. I'll push it up. All right. As much as you can cut pieces together, the better, because the pieces will match better. Like if I cut a 2.5-inch square out of the white and a 2.5-inch square out of this red separately, they'd probably be close, but not exactly the same. And if I do them both layered like this, they'll be exactly the same. Okay, so we're gonna just, I'm gonna waste some fabric doing this, but that's okay. I'm gonna cut just the 2.5 all the way up. I'll have all this extra, you know, I could just cut a 2.5-inch square like that, but it's so much easier to cross once and then cross cut it. So I'm gonna just do that. I'm not gonna care that there's this extra. We'll just deal with it. Okay, so now I gotta get my 2.5, so 1, 2.5, 1, 2.5, okay. All right. The other ruler, butt it up against there. Okay. Safety off. All right. These guys are done. So this is actually called cutting a strip. And then when you decide to cut the other direction, it's called cross-cutting. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to cross-cut this because we want a 2.5-inch square. So, all right. I am going to just align this perfect edge. I know it's perfect because I just cut it with a real ruler and my rotary cutter. So I'm going to line that along a nice straight edge. And we're going to get rid of this weird edge that came with the fabric. Is cross-cutting a new workout phase? Yeah, really, it should be. I'm getting cut, cross-cutting, and like, instead of what is it? Oh God, I'm just really tired. Just cross-training, or what's that thing that everyone's doing now at those gyms where you do all the that has all that language and you CrossFit. There it is. God, man, I couldn't think of it. Yeah, we're cross-cutting, getting cross-cut at CrossFit. Alrighty, so let's do this 2.5 inches, and then we will have our 2.5-inch square. Okay. This is scaring me. I've never done this before where I sew all the way around and cut. We'll see if it works. Again, I think I did the math right. 1, 2.5. All right. This is such a small block. it's going to end up being, when I'm done with it, it'll be 6.5 inches, but when they sew all of them together, it'll end up being 6 inches, because again, they're getting rid of 1/4 of an inch on each side by the act of sewing them together. Hey, Cheryl. All right, snip. There we go. Sound effects on point. You know what? I have to add sound effects to everything. I don't even realize I'm doing it, actually. Hey there. Are you back home again now after your retreat? All right, so here are my 2 pieces. So again, what I'm gonna do here, and I think this would be fun, maybe I can get my sewing machine out here. So again, this is what I'm going to, oh my God, look, dude, I totally know what 2.5 inches looks like. Haha, that's like an exact. So I will put these wrong sides together. Right sides together, I mean. When I say right and wrong sides, oh, that's fun. Yeah, I don't sew very often, and I'm trying to get into it a little bit more. So the right and wrong sides of fabric, it's a very typical phrase in the quilting industry and in any sewing industry. The right side of the fabric is where the pattern is on, where you can see all the color. The wrong side of the fabric is the back of the fabric. So usually you want to, here, let's do an example like this. So these are both the right sides, these are both the wrong sides. When you sew, you typically sew right sides together, so I'm going to sandwich them together. And then if I would, let's say I'm sewing these 2 pieces together, I'll sew right here. So now they're all attached right here. Then when I flip this back out, then both of the right sides will be shown. So my fingers are where it's sewn. So that's why you put right sides together. So now what's a little funny with this white fabric is that there's not really any right or wrong side. So all I have to do is make sure that this guy's right side is facing it. So yeah, I'm gonna just plop them together like this. I'll probably put a little pin in here to hold it together. I'm gonna sew all the way around the entire edge, 1/4 inch, cut and cut, and then I should end up with 4 half square triangles, which are these guys, squares that are made out of 2 triangles. Oops, dropped my pencil. So yeah, so what we got, I will sew these guys to the edge, so right sides together. They will be like that. This guy, I think I liked him down here. I don't know. Let's see how we should arrange this. This and this. We could do this and this, maybe. I think these look too much like each other, and these are like big and bold, and these are teeny tiny and not so bold, so I don't know. I don't think it's too equilateral with them being across. My sister, who's a quilter, would faint if she was watching this. Oh, that's funny. I won't tell. But yeah, you know what? I was crocheting at home. This is years ago. I was just crocheting something, and my brother was like, oh, show me how to do that. Or I had brought a book home about crochet, and now he crochets. He works all winter. He travels to, like right now he's in Australia because he's working the winter there, or it's starting to get to be summer there, but like he works on ski hills, and he grooms the ski hills. So he'll work in the US in its winter, and he'll work in Australia in their winter, just grooming hills in those giant machines. But sometimes when he's not doing that, he's crocheting winter hats now. So I mean, he got the bug too. Oh yeah, they're awesome. They're so good. So then this guy will be all these little corners. So what he'll look, I remember when I was going to, I think Cell Center. Oh yeah. That's awesome. So this is how this will look. So this is what the half square, he should come, funny. All right, so this is what a half square triangle will look, but we will have 4 of them that will go in all these little corners. And then they'll be like this. So let's see if I can fold this up so we can see what it'll look like. Yeah, here we go. So this is what it'll end up looking like. We'll have, there we go. So all the whites will be pointing in towards the white, and then it'll have these little red corners. And then we'll just sew it all together. And then again, then we will I'm going to try and make this little crocheted embroidery motif. Oh, thank you. These colors are really pretty, don't you think? I mean, I love this red and I love this deep, deep blue. Oh, I think my crochet hook came out. All right, but yeah, so then, I mean, obviously this is way too big and way too detailed, but it'll be some version of this. Yeah, they're super pretty. It's a Moda fabric. I don't know what the line is. I think I'm supposed to get more information on it soon. But, you know, this is variegated yarn, which means it just turns different colors as you stitch it. Like it goes from dark blue to white and then back to dark blue. I think I have embroidery floss like that. I might use variegated floss for this pattern. So I think I'm going to do the pattern just like how crochet is. So this starts from the middle and it just goes around and around and around and around. I think I'm going to do that for this embroidery pattern. Whatever design I do to look like a doily. It'll go around and around and around and around. And then I'll have like this little, you know, this little crochet hook that's here. Picking out fabric. Oh, sorry. How do I decide what fabric I like? I think that's what you said, right? I just caught the end as it was fading. But this will be silver or some gray. I don't know yet. I have some metallic thread. It might be fun to actually do the crochet hook in silver. And then I'm going to have the thread come off and stitch it like it's swirling all the way around this border. But I think I'm going to like the size of this little embroidery. It'll just be so cute in there, like a little mini doily. I think that'll be fun. So I'm pretty excited. I will start designing that this week probably. And maybe I'll bring the computer out here and I can show you how I do that too. That'd be fun, playing around in Illustrator. But yeah, so there we go. Next step, I think, will be, next step is getting this design approved by the authors and see if they go for it. But I can show them this now and they can see if they like this. How I pick the fabric is, here again, I have, you know, they gave me so many pretty choices. I got this whole huge bundle of stuff. You know, I mean, oh man, I like stripes. What I like personally is things to be a little bold with a hint of traditional. And that's really what this collection is. So I really, really liked this deep, dark color. Yeah, these greens are just so pretty too. Like, look at these two together. I mean, how pretty, right? The little strawberries and the flowers. I think that's just so cute. I'm gonna have to find out who the designer is and stuff of this. I know nothing about it at all, really. But I mean, look at this gingham too, right? So get this little gingham and this together with some green and strawberries. Like, look at that right there. I mean, how pretty is that? So, I mean, like, the choices are really endless. Or look at this bold thing. I'm like, look at these 5 together. I mean, that's pretty cute, right? I mean, that would have been something fun, right? I mean, I really like this yellow. But yeah, I mean, so I had to pick something, right? So I really liked this bold, dark, this bold blue. I mean, just these rich, like, indigo deep blues. I don't know. There's something I just love about them. And I think what a lot of people do is they go for like all the like the frilly things, and I'm not real frilly in gingham style. Yeah, gingham style. So these are all very sweet. Like, this is a sweet little dot, you know, sweet little flowers. So what I like is like the sweet with the bold, right? So that's why I really like this this dark. And I think if you put if you put too much together, like if I put all these together, it would just look like it needs something to hold it together. So that's why I kept it pretty basic. So I have these 2 bolds, I have these 2 blues. So I have this whole blue thing going, right? So it feels blue, right? But it does have these little pops of orange, and I thought, how fun would that be for these teeny tiny corners to have these little pops of orange? Like, it's literally going to be, you know, a teeny tiny corner here, right? Just a tiny bit. And I thought that might just be a fun complement to these little bits of red in here. Gingham style. So that's how I chose this. Obviously, I could have gone all different directions. Really, I could do this same block a bajillion different ways and I'd have a whole quilt. Like, look at this. That's real pretty. I mean, look at that. I love that blue. So anyway, I could have done a million different things. But again, I just decided I like this bold. I think these pretty light blues. There's a quilting block called a log cabin block, and the way that typically goes is you have two darks next to each other like this, and two lights. So I'm kind of giving the log cabin block a nod a little bit to that. So quilty people will recognize that. So I'm kind of giving that a little nod. So dark, same kind of tone. This dark blue, and then this light, same kind of blues. And then I'm just adding these fun little corners because this is a really pretty red. And I want it to be, you know, I don't want it to be too simple where it's just two strips and two strips. So I added these little corners. But yeah, so now we're ready for sewing. And that's that, I guess. Here, I'm going to flip you guys around again. Let's see. Flip. My camera doesn't like flipping, guys, so I don't know if I'll be able to do it. Okay, I'm tapping you. Oh wait, I just tapped it and then it went dark. Okay. Well, I don't know if I'll be able to flip this around tonight, so I will just leave you guys on here. And again, I will, what order do you see them? I'm stumped at the corners. Oh, so these are going to be the corners. I will sew these together tomorrow. What I'm going to do for the corners is they're going to be half square triangles, and a little bit's going to be white and the other bit's going to be red. And I'll show you again, I drew up kind of how I'm going to do that with these big squares. I'll show you how I do that tomorrow. It's kind of a fun little trick to make a bunch of half square triangles out of a bigger block. So I think maybe tomorrow, maybe I'll just bring the sewing machine out here. We'll see if we can do this, and we'll sew this whole thing together. That'll be fun. So I will show you, I'll show you how the corners will work then for sure. When do the corners get attached? I will, I think I'll make the corners first. So that will be the first thing. And then I will attach them to probably the top and bottom of this and the top and bottom of this guy here. So first I will sew these two to here. So this will be like a long bit. And then I'll have this, and I'll sew the corners to the top and the bottom of there. Then I'll do the same thing with this guy. So then I'll have two long strips with corners, and then I'll sew that with the corners to the whole thing. So a couple little steps. So that's what we'll do. And I'll show you how to do all that tomorrow. And then I still have to design this embroidery in here yet. And I gotta get this approved yet, so we'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping that they approve it. I'm hoping they like it. Okay. Oh, wait. My camera's still not turning around, guys. So, okay, there we go. Let me flip you down. All right. So that was fun. I haven't done that before. I think, yeah, we'll get the sewing machine out here and we'll just give it a go and see how it works. And then maybe I'll even bring the computer out. I don't know how well the camera will shoot the computer, but it might be fun just to show you how I do Illustrator. What I'll do is I'll probably draw out this embroidery first, because like this again is crazy. I have no idea what's going on in here, but I know I want it to look like crochet. So I'll sketch that a little bit more in my sketchbook here, and then I'll take a photo of it and I'll bring it into Illustrator and just trace it. And we'll do that one evening too here, I think. That'll be fun. But yeah, and this little project will be out the door too. So thanks guys for coming in here again, and yeah, we'll do more of all crafts. We'll do more crochet, we'll do more painting, we'll do more quilting, and yeah, feel free to, if you have questions on any of that stuff, let me know. You can always contact me at Alyssa, ALYSSA, at penguinandfish.com, or I'm Penguin and Fish everywhere, so you can just check that out. I came late. Did you crochet? No, not tonight, Conjoy. We did some, I took the, oh, I can show you. So this is probably a little bit dry now. I took the water-soluble marker off of here, and I can actually see a little bit more, so I'll probably wet this down a little bit more. Actually, no, I won't. I can see what's going on here. I'm going to have to wet down the whole thing when I'm done anyway, so I'll just leave that. But we took off all that so I could actually see the leaf. It was getting confusing. And then we cut out some fabric for a cute quilt block. And I think I'll try sewing that together tomorrow, maybe. So again, thank you. I'm Alyssa Thomas. Join me again tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Central. Thanks, guys. Have a nice evening.